Hi, it's Mr. Smith again, and in this video we're going to go through the syllabus, and really I'm just going to try to point out the most important things, at least from my perspective. And as I've said before, let me know if you have any questions, if there's any questions that don't get answered in this video. So first of all, it talks about how we typically respond to emails within 24 hours. Especially in a summer course, I try to get back to students as quickly as I can. So often I'll get back to you, almost immediately. At least that's my goal. But if for some reason I miss your email and I don't reply within 24 hours, please email me again and I will be apologetic because I don't do that on purpose. We talked about my name, Mr. Smith. You can also call me 1T. That's my nickname. And if you need to email me, that's the email address. When you're in eCampus, there's a button that you can use to click to get to that email address. If you want to call and have a conversation, you can call this number. It's a Google phone number that I have. I would encourage you not to text that number because for whatever reason, I don't tend to get those in a timely manner. I'm not sure what I've done wrong with that. I don't have an office on campus because this is an internet course, so we'll be meeting in eCampus. And as far as office hours are concerned, I used to do it for an hour or so a week at a certain time, and students, it just seemed like there was never a good time. And so please email me if you would like to meet, and don't hesitate to do that. That's part of what I'm here for, is to help you out. So just email me. We'll arrange a time to meet together, whatever makes the most sense. But we'll do that in eCampus. If for some reason you need to get a hold of the engineering and math department, you can email this address. So this is Contemporary Math, Math1332. You'll notice there's two sections that I'm teaching, and so you should be one of those. Summer 2023. Again, this is an internet course. Certification date is Thursday, June 8th, which is basically when I indicate to Dallas College that you're attending the course. And so we'll get into that in just a little bit. There's a set of assignments that need to be done. I say by June 7th, and then I have till the 8th to fill out the part that I need to do to certify you. You'll notice the last day to withdraw is June 28th, and basically you get a W on your record when you do that. So you want to watch that. You don't want to withdraw from too many classes. I hope everybody gets through and we don't have anybody that needs to drop, but that's the drop date. And I do want to mention this: students are responsible for withdrawing from a course. In fact, any more instructors cannot withdraw you from a course. So I would encourage you to talk to me, or if you're a veteran or you're getting financial aid, there's other people you should talk to before you just drop. Sometimes students will just get frustrated and they just quit, and a year or two later they come back, things have changed, and they realize they're on academic probation because they didn't withdraw correctly. So I would encourage you to, if you do need to withdraw, do it the right way. And I don't think there's anything else I really want to mention on that page. This is a course description of the course. You can read that on your own. Student learning outcomes. These are the kinds of things we'll be doing in this course. The Texas core objectives, you'll see those on all of your syllabi, and these are things that overall we want to teach as a college, and we hope that you'll leave with stronger skills in these areas. So you can read that on your own. So this talks about what we're going to be using in terms of our materials. They've really kind of simplified things. Basically, your course materials are part of your tuition. You can opt out of doing that, but you're not going to end up saving any money. So there's, I highly recommend that students don't opt out. You want to make sure that you're that you do not opt out of the include program. Otherwise, you're going to find you could have some real challenges, and you're not going to save any money. That's really the big thing. And if you didn't know it, Dallas College is one of the least expensive colleges around. We really try to keep our costs down. Now, there is one thing outside of that you will need to pay for if you don't have one, and that is a calculator. In this course, especially when we're in the finance section, we're going to be entering some very complex fractions where you have fractions within fractions, and this TI-30XS multi-view calculator makes that much easier to do. In fact, the previous person that was in charge of this course started using this calculator, and her pass rates really went up. And so I've been using it ever since I started teaching the course. I highly recommend it. You can use a graphing calculator or another calculator, but you've got to be really good with your calculator and be able to handle fractions within fractions. And so you do want to make sure you have a good calculator to do that. It can make a real difference, especially when we get to that finance chapter. This is the information for graded work. You'll notice homework is 15%, quizzes 10%, 4 tests 60%, so basically 15% each, and the final is also worth 15%. The grading scale is the typical scale. 90 to 100% is an A, and so on. All right, let's look at graded work in a little more detail. So homework will be assigned in my math lab to practice the material learned in each section of the textbook. A great feature of my math lab is that you get immediate feedback for each problem. If you get a wrong answer, you usually have access to detailed feedback on how to do the problem correctly. I do want to say, though, I really think it's important, especially in terms of learning for most people, that you work out the problems on paper and kind of keep things organized. And then that way, like when you get to quizzes, you can go back and look at things from maybe the 3 sections that are going to be on the quiz. In your notes, you also might make a note of certain things that you didn't understand or you need to study a little bit more, or things you don't want to forget. And so those are the kinds of things that can make a real difference. And so I highly encourage students to do that. Notice that if you maintain an average of 80% or better on your homework, at the end of the semester, I'll drop your lowest test score. I do want to mention one thing. My math lab is great as far as giving you good feedback, but if you find that when you're doing your homework, you're constantly clicking on the help buttons, then that's an indication that you really need to work more to learn the material. You really want to be able, ideally you'll watch my videos that I make for each section. I'll do most of the same types of problems you'll see in the homework, and hopefully you can use what you see in the notes to get yourself through the homework. And then if you have problems, you also have those other help buttons. But just be careful, because it's easy to think just because you got 100% on the homework, you understand that homework. You should be asking yourself, do I understand this? Could I do this problem or these problems without any help? And so that's a very important thing to think about as you're working through the homework. So when you take the quizzes, they're going to be normally on about 3 or more sections, and it really gives you a good feedback in terms of whether you're, kind of how you're coming along as far as learning the topics. And so I would encourage you to maybe look back at the sections before you take the quiz, look at your notes, and then take the quiz. Try to do it without looking at any notes. And if you're not doing well, then that really indicates what you really need to study more. And you do have 2 chances to take the quiz. Notice they are timed. So they're like mini tests, getting you ready for the test. So then there's 4 tests, as we said, and then a final, which is 32 points. And you'll notice it's going to be on, the deadline will be July 6th. I think I gave you from that Monday through Thursday to get it done. Notice the final can't be dropped. As far as homework and quizzes, it's very important, like I said in my introduction video, that you get those done on time. There is a 25% penalty that any of those that are done late. And basically the last time or last day that I'll accept any late work is July 2nd. So please try not to get behind, because you'll find that it's very hard to get caught up if you do. But you can get partial credit all the way up to July 2nd. If for some reason you miss a test as far as getting it done by the due date, you want to contact me right away. Let me know what's going on. I mean, you should have pretty good reason to, if you miss a test, but otherwise there are no makeups. Communicating with your instructor, it's really important that you talk to me if you're having any problems. Also, you should be getting my emails. Each week I'll be sending out emails, and sometimes more frequently than that. So you want to make sure that your email address in eConnect is correct. I mean, actually, it's already been assigned, and you just want to make sure that you're getting those emails. I had a student last semester that 3/4 into the semester, I finally realized that he wasn't getting my emails. And it's just really important. I mean, he obviously didn't watch the video, so I'm just really encouraging you to make sure that's not an issue, because it won't just be an issue with my class, it'll be an issue with all your classes. Last thing here I want to mention, we talked about certification earlier. In order to be certified as basically attending and participating in the course, I need you to complete the Chapter 1 and 4 assignments, which go all the way through Quiz 2, by Wednesday, June 7th. And you'll see that when we look at the schedule in just a minute. Notice that should all be done with at least an average of 70%. Of course, I recommend 80%, because if you keep your average on the homework at 80%, then remember, I'm going to drop your lowest test score at the end of the semester. For people that receive financial aid, and there may be others, not being certified could affect your financial aid or have other implications. So make sure you take care of business. Institutional policies, those are the policies for all students throughout the college. It talks about things such as tutoring, disability services, dropping and repeating classes, etc., etc. So if you've never gone in there and looked at those, you should be familiar with those, and I'd encourage you to do that if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and look at the first page of the course schedule. So the course schedule is going to be really important. If I were you, I'd print it out and I'd have it with you wherever you are when you do your homework. Even though I send out the weekly announcements, and I remind you what's due each week, you can see it's right here. So notice in the first week, you have 2 sets of assignments. These are the ones that have to be done by June 7th, and those are the ones that you need to do to indicate that you're attending and participating in the course. And then the rest of the Test 1 assignments need to be completed by June 11th, which is Sunday. So normally the due dates are on Sundays. You'll notice that's true in week 2 and week 3 and week 4. You can see pretty much each week you're taking a test, and there's 4 tests, so that's 4 weeks, and then the 5th week you take your final. So anyway, I think that's really all I wanted to show you about the syllabus. Again, if I missed anything that you have questions about, let me know. All right.